All right, Full Circle Fitness fans, family members, and friends. Here is another at-home workout we're sending right to you guys. Today we're going to focus on lower body, so this will be a lower body strength routine that you can do in the comfort of your own home. So we have about 5 or 6 exercises that you can do that require little to no weight. If you want to progress and make this exercise and this routine a little bit harder, you can have hand weights at home, cans, water bottles, anything that you can find that's around 2 to 5 pounds. Or if you have regular weights and want to make it even harder, again, you can have your own dumbbells in your hands while you're doing this. I'm going to show you with it just your body weight because most people at home probably don't have weights or fitness equipment at all. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to get right to it. We're going to start with exercise number 1, which is going to be wall sits or wall squats. So there's 2 different options here. If I have a history of having knee issues, I'm probably just going to do the sit. All right, so find any wall in your house that you can sit. The lower you go, the more the strain it's going to put on your quads and your knees. So maybe start right about here, maybe about 45 degrees. If you go down to 90, it's going to put a lot of strain on your legs. If you're strong enough to do it, I definitely recommend doing it. You're going to do this for, again, about 30 to 60 seconds. Work your way up to it, keep your core tight. A lot of times people don't like to rest their head back, but I prefer to rest my head back on the wall. You can even have your palms here. Make sure your toes are nice and straight, and they're not out like this, so you're not putting strain on the inside of your knees, or if your toes are too far in, you're putting strain on the outside of your knees. So shoulder width apart for your legs, toes nice and straight. You're gonna feel that burn in your quads. If you feel like it's too much, you can come up a little bit. If you still like it's still too much, you can come up a little bit more. But again, just sitting against the wall in an isometric position for 30 to 60 seconds is a great way to get some blood flow in those leg muscles and get that muscle tissue stronger. So the other option is you can do squats. If you don't have a stability ball, you can simply slide up and down the wall doing squats, okay? Remember, hips, so feet shoulder width apart, toes straight while you're doing this. Shoot for maybe about 12 to 15 wall squats, okay? So now we're gonna get into elevated walkouts, and then we'll do some stand-up sit-downs. All right, so elevated walkouts can be done with any type of bench you have. You can do them on the floor. I'll show you both options. It's a great way to get some strength not only in your lower back, but in your core as well. And it really does a great job of stretching out your calves and your hamstrings too. So we're gonna come all the way down till I almost can touch the ground, all right? And I know a lot of people lack that flexibility in their calves and hamstrings. So sometimes it is beneficial, and I'll grab some here for you guys, to use yoga blocks, or again, maybe some soup cans or something that you have at home if you don't have yoga blocks, that you can use this to help you get down and walk out right to about here into a plank position. Remember your core staying nice and tight, and then walking back. Okay? And you want to do that again for 30 to 60 seconds. So without the yoga blocks, you're walking out. Keep your core nice and tight, and then you're walking back, okay? So if you find that doing it on the floor is too challenging, you can regress and do this in an elevated position. So this is a bench, but you can find anything about this height or maybe even a little bit lower to place your hands at first. Get that nice stretch. And again, you don't want to round your back. You want to keep your back and shoulders nice and straight, nice and neutral spine, and walk your hands out. Okay? Now, a lot of times when you're walking your hands out on this, you want to make sure that your hands don't go too far out from your shoulders. You don't want to be back like this. You want to be over top. Okay? So walking out and then walking back. So I'll show you a couple of times. You're going to walk with your hands over top of your shoulders, okay, all the way to a good, plank position. This bench is obviously going to be in your way a little bit, so you want to make sure that you get out as far as you can and then walk back. So walk forward, and again, you're doing this for 30 to 60 seconds. So there's a couple different options when you're doing this exercise, okay? All right, so we're going to bring this to the side, and we're going to use it again in a minute for our stand-up sit-downs. But now we're going to go into calf raises. So a lot of times people can do the calf raises nice and simple, just up and down. If you have a history of Achilles tendonitis, or if you have some plantar fasciitis, you might want to do a lot of stretching before you do this exercise. And again, we'll have later videos on how to stretch at home. You can also do this exercise holding on to a wall for balance if you feel like you don't feel like you're safe enough to do this without holding onto something. Just kind of have your hand on the wall. And you're looking to have your toes straight and about shoulder width apart, and you're raising up on your toes and squeezing the back of your calves. Again, if I get to this position and I feel some strain in my ankle, then you probably don't want to do this exercise just yet. You want to do some stretching on your calves and then come back and try it again and see if it feels okay, all right? A lot of times you can do this exercise on the edge of a step too if you're at home, but again, toes straight forward, raising up and down, and again, you can do this for 12 to 15 reps, okay? Now we're gonna get into the stand-up sit-downs. Now this was on our first video that we did for at-home workouts, but I wanna show it again because it is a great exercise to do for your lower body without putting stress or strain on your knees, which is very important for our over 50 and senior crowd, okay? So again, we're gonna act like we're sitting on it. So any type of chair that you have at home, shoot, you can even do this on the toilet, right? So I know it's probably not the cleanest environment to be in on this, but anything that has about this level of a bench or a chair. So we're gonna stand all the way up and then come all the way back down. Now, I wanna show you from a side view too, but you wanna make sure, again, your feet shoulder width apart, toes are straight. Toes aren't angled out because if they do, it's a lot of strain on the knees. So toes are straight, shoulder width apart, core is tight. I'm gonna lean a little forward and then stand up, come all the way down, and you can make this exercise as easy or as hard as you want. So I'm barely touching the bench as I come up, so barely touching the bench, or I can sit all the way down, reset, and then come up. So again, from the side view, all right, sticking that butt out first. Okay, a lot of times I see people, they're just sitting down like this. You have to have your chest leaning forward and your butt out first before you sit down. Making sure this is kind of your detector to make sure there's something behind you while you're sitting. All right, so you sit down, nice and easy, stand up. Sit down, stand up. Keeping that core tight. All right, again, we're shooting for about 12 to 15. If you feel like you can do more, you could even do more. You can do 20, you can do 30 reps. You can add some weights, again, with those soup cans or water bottles, or if you have weights at home, and you can challenge it more by doing single leg sit downs, which again was on our balance workout that we did. So however you want to progress that exercise, you can, all right? So now we're going to go into a couple exercises that we have on the ground, okay? So again, if you don't have a mat at home, you can sit on your carpet. Most people, I think, would probably have a gym mat or maybe lay some towels down. So the first exercise we're going to do is for your quads and your hips. So toe flexed up, so you're bringing your toe towards you, hands down, head down. You're going to raise the leg up. It's a simple quad raise. And if you do it right and you're squeezing that thigh the whole time, it's going to be a great way to work those muscles in and around the knee and all the way up to your hip as well. So keeping the toe flexed towards you, squeezing that quad, you're gonna do about 12 to 15 reps. And then you simply place the leg down and switch sides. Again, flexing that toe, squeezing your thigh each time, going through the repetitions. I'll show you from the side as well. Okay, I always say to be safe, you wanna make sure that the knee doesn't go past the level of this knee, all right? So if I'm strong enough, and I am, I can bring my leg all the way up, but a lot of times with that over 50 and senior crowd, they have sensitive knees. So you wanna make sure when you're raising the leg, you raise it just to the level of this other leg, all right? So I'll show you on this side so you can see maybe a little bit clearer. Just to that level of that other leg, bring it back down, again, flexing that toe, squeezing that quad, 12 to 15 each side, but again, you can always do more, 20 to 30 reps. The last exercise I'm gonna show you, okay, or sorry, the second to last exercise is gonna be inner thigh raises. You probably see these all the time. They're a great way to work that inner thigh. You're gonna lay on your side and you're gonna flex the toe again towards you. Placing this other foot here, a lot of times people will do the exercise with this leg over top, which is fine, but I feel like it really does limit my range of motion on this exercise. So I like to keep the leg like this, all right? So the most important thing is to kind of get on your side of your glute. If it feels uncomfortable because you got a lot of bony protrusions on your hip, you kind of adjust what feels comfortable for you. But flex that toe forward, and you're going to raise it up, okay, and down. You want to feel that burning and that squeeze in the inside of your thigh, from the inside of the knee all the way up to the groin area. And again, I'll show you from the side view so you guys can see this. You're putting your foot behind you, leaning on your elbow, and you're going to raise it up and down, okay? So again, you can do this for 12 to 15 reps. If you feel like it's too easy, go to higher reps, 12 to 30 reps. If you have leg weights at home, so you could definitely add some leg weights to this as well. All right, so 12 to 15 minimum each side. Now we're going to go into our last exercise for your lower body strength, which is going to be hip extensions. Probably one of my favorite exercises to do. Really good for people who have weak lower back, weak glutes, and weak hamstrings, okay? So what we're trying to do here is we're going to lay on our stomach. And again, I'll show you from both views. I'll show you from the side view first. We're going to lay on our stomach. I like to have my hands out in a T position with my head down. So very important to keep your head down on this. A lot of times I'll see people kind of lift their head up like this. It's a lot of strain on the back of that neck. Okay, so keep your head like you're looking down, and just keeping your body up like this with your legs up is really good for that lower back and glute area. Okay, so you can even kind of just do a half Superman or just a hip extension hold and hold this for 30 to 60 seconds. But the exercise we're going to do is we're going to do it in repetitions. Okay, so you can go up and down, and you can flex your toes if you want to on this one, but I find if you flex your toes, it does limit your capability to raise your hip up. So I prefer pointing my toes on this one, and you're going to raise up, squeeze the glutes, and then come back down. You can alternate your legs if it's too hard for you, if you want to strengthen one side that's a little bit weaker, okay? And you're really focusing on squeezing the glutes on this. Don't just go through the repetition. Make sure that you're squeezing the glutes, squeezing your hamstrings, and squeezing your calves all at the same time. If you feel like this is too much strain for your lower back, do that isometric one we did in the beginning. Maybe just do it with one leg and you're just holding it. And if you still feel like it's too much strain for your lower back, then don't do this exercise, okay? We'll give you further videos on how to work that lower back. A bridge is another good option of how to do that. So again, you're gonna go either single raise, you can alternate, you can do both at the same time. Again, and the important thing is just, I know my neck is kind of up a little bit while I'm doing it because I'm looking at the camera, but make sure that head is looking down while you're doing this exercise, okay? 12 to 15 reps. Again, if you want to do more, you can go all the way up to 30 if you want. Use leg weights, and you can make that exercise a little bit harder too. So there you go, guys. There's some exercises for some lower body strength you can do at home. Simple exercises to help all of us stay active during all this COVID stuff going on right now. So stay tuned for more videos. We're going to be putting them out every day. And be safe, be smart, be active, and we'll see you soon, guys. Thanks a lot.